Ice, ice, baby.
Fairly commonly told story in Western Washington, the ice ages in the last 2.4 million years have laid the hammer down on the North Cascades.
There has been several times where our climate has shifted towards a cooling period to the point in which ice would be able to descend from the North Pole all the way down here.
And a lot of it too, like 3,000 plus feet of it in Seattle. While that ice may have been tall within its own right, our mountains were taller, which does mean that a good portion of the peaks in the past were able to stay above all of that ice. But they still contended with alpine ice. Alpine ice is just the smaller version of a continental ice sheet. The continental ice sheet is what covered our area, the alpine ice sheet comes from the mountains. And these ice sheets in the mountains effectively acted like a belt sander. The granites that make up the North Cascades are tough. They're hard to get rid of. However, as the Worthington Glacier here in Alaska proves to us, they can still be worn away. But here's the fun part about that. Often overlooked in comparison to what goes on over in eastern Washington, western Washington had glacial lakes too. And yes, glacial floods just like Missoula as well. The Kastner Glacier in Alaska gives us a really good example of how glaciers tear up materials and move it around and then throw it downhill subsequently. This same thing happened with the glaciers that would have been coming out of the North Cascades, dumping that material into those former glacial lakes. And as those rivers moved downhill, that material eventually settled out in some of those lakes in the Proto-Puget Sound, creating a lot of the ground that we stand on. If you live downhill or downstream from a body that comes from the North Cascades, you are more than likely, in part, standing on that long story. As with so much of our area, the Pacific Northwest is an active geologic construction zone, and we're just along for the ride. It's Cowlitz County time! On the next one. Wait, before you go. This is why we don't edit/make things at 2 o'clock in the morning, because I screwed up on a date. Anyways, all of these are going to be live presentations in the field and free. I hope to see you in person for one or all of these events, as well as our next series, Southwest Washington's Geology.